Hello, I am Rangru,
And I'm Graham.
and we're here today with another 1v1 from the SenSAtional tournament. We are on the highway to Sheol, and who is on this lovely highway today, Graham?
So on this beautiful piece of roadwork here, we on the left-hand side have Krot playing as the Dutch German Corps general. And then on our right-hand side here, if you look out your window, you can see Nick the Man playing as Scandinavia. Oh, actually, Scandinavia. And I apologize to the viewer and experience rank because I already know I'm going to get roasted. It is Dutch German Mech.
It is.
I saved it.
Thankfully, you corrected it,
I
and
did.
because you mentioned it yourself, no one in the comments, and I mean no one in the comments, is going to bring up that flaw.
No, I did
So
it. I saved it.
you saved it. But right off the bat, I mean, we're seeing Nick the Man going pretty heavy on the early helicopter play, the scout defender, and even an ATGM helicopter opener. That's actually pretty risky because if there's an anti-helicopter, which is usually the helicopter opener, a
Right.
TOW2 is not going to do much. So let's see if he can get a sneaky snipe.
I think he's not worried about the AA immediately going against. I don't know like how the tournament's set up. If he knows about the different the deck that he's going in before it happens, but I think maybe because of the mech, he's not quite as worried. So he thinks he can maybe get a couple shots in with that toe too early without having to worry about a response. But we see a Flak Panzer Gepard from Krot already pushing back those helos.
Yeah, and we're seeing the 20 mil just doing a bit of skirmishing here. Gonna be shooting up at BGS. They are going to get absolutely blapped. And
Yeah, they got annihilated.
yeah,
Oh, and he just hit the transport gets shot there too. Does he actually see the command?
I doubt it.
I'm gonna see real quick if he actually. No, he doesn't
No.
have any idea. It's right there in front of him, which is really funny because that could be huge if he spots that there. He bombs it, changes the entire game off the start.
Because actually, Fennec's doing pretty decent. Man's to snipe a few transports, slows down
Yeah,
that mechanized push.
yeah. Typically, you don't see a Fennec 20 mil get that much damage done early in the game, but he clearly was able to accomplish it. And then we see Dick the Man already trying to deploy his troops here in Delta as the mech push, like you talked about from Krot, goes in hot.
Yeah, you really want to definitely play pretty heavy in Delta as mechanized. That's probably one of the better points of the map to really take advantage of the mechanized push. I mean, Nick the Man does have two cards of the Shrieder Super Heavies, so he would
Right.
definitely have the armor advantage compared to Crotch Leopard 2A1s.
Yeah, one thing I really like though about the mech push is that you can get a lot of 2A1s and you have a lot of like really good, I think, supporting infantry for that armor. So you can, if you can concentrate, I think your forces really well, especially on highway to Seoul. It can be really difficult to deal with the amount of just infantry and vehicles that are in your face.
Yeah, and you get really good infantry between both the Dutch and the Germans. The Panzer
Yeah,
Grenadiers, the Dutch Grenadiers, Fallschirmjäger 90s, like, and all the good APCs of Martyrs and the fast stuff which the Netherlands has. So you're doing pretty good.
yeah, I really do like the Grenadier for 10 points that you can get for the Dutch German Corps. It's an awesome cheap infantry unit that you can kind of spam around. And then, right, like you said, you combine it with some of that better German infantry too, especially the Panzergren 90. I think it's a very powerful force that Krok can put into the field. We do see down towards Gulf, his Panzergrens are kind of getting shot up by the Scout Defender.
And we're seeing Krot actually doing a bit of sneaky helicopter play, trying to make his way into Alpha to potentially, well, not get a CV snipe of the helicopter, but at least spot
Right.
it. But Nick the Man, he has that anti-aircraft defense. He's like a base in War Thunder. He's going to be blapping anything that tries to get near. I was going to say airfield, but it's more like a highway field.
Yeah, and I think that shows also too, like hey, with the new games out, right? We're talking about base defense. That's something that Wargame players are already used to, and you see it right there from someone as experienced as Nick the Man, having an AA piece with some scouting material and by your starting point is always beneficial.
Yeah, just something cheap and easy is save you a lot of headache in the long run. But down south, yeah, Gulf is completely under Nick the Man's control. There's really not much of a contention, yeah, in terms of actual fighting. He doesn't
Yeah,
have a whole lot, but
so I wonder if that's a 2 point like kind of deal here. So if you notice that he delayed his stuff going in there, I don't know if that was intentional or not. The Panzergren and the Leopards that were going to push Golf, they actually stood in the road for a while. So that might have been a mistake, or maybe it was a deliberate attempt. And so it seems like maybe also with the mech deck ring, he's kind of decided that it'd be easier for him to push the Echo Delta points in kind of one singular motion instead of trying to defend across the whole front.
Yeah, you really just want to try to make good concise push, especially as that mechanized side, because you have all those infantry which you can throw into the battlefield. But yeah, down south, I mean, losing Golf early on is pretty huge.
Yes.
And if Nick the Man can get a good position on that hill, it's going to be pretty tough to get back into here, but also you can put a lot of pressure onto Delta from Golf.
Yeah, from what we're looking at here, Rang, to me, it doesn't seem like there's any urgency in terms of Krot getting into Golf. He seems very content to continue pushing into Delta and Echo. And based upon his setup there, I mean, with the Recon Leopard, the Milan team, it seems more like he's trying to prevent a push from Golf into Foxtrot than any offensive action.
Yeah, it's definitely much more of a defensive play, right, yeah. But Nick the Man's actually doing pretty good holding off in Delta. I mean, his infantry aren't as great per se, but they're holding the line against the Grenadiers for the time being. And he does have a decent amount of fire support with the mortar providing some fire, as well as the Swedish Super Heavy, the 121. Already took a bit of, damage, but it's still going to be a rather tough customer to blow up.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for him, especially because the Milan team's only got one missile left, which I think it's actually going to... Oh, no, it doesn't fire. But he does kind of need to reinforce there a little bit, but like you said, his infantry's holding the line. He has an STRV 121, and we see reinforcements already coming in. Plus, Rank, he has an MLU flying top cover, trying to find any of the German or Dutch armor on the battlefield here. So he's in a pretty good spot, I would say, Nick the Man is.
Yeah, he's in definitely a good spot. If he can knock out that 2 Psych of Leopard J1s, he'll definitely halt any more offensive operations into Delta for the time being. But we are seeing Krot invest in quite a bit of infantry here. He's putting a little bit more into Echo, and that's definitely quite durable in the current state. As there's not a whole lot here. There's a one annoying STRF. That's really it.
Yeah, I think the push in Echo and Delta is his best move. I mean, looks like he might try and counter into Golf, but it's kind of a reach. I think at this stage of the game, it's better probably, I think, to focus Delta, focus Echo. If you can completely wipe Nick the Man there, maybe even threaten Bravo, it can really mitigate losing Golf. But it's kind of like a time thing that we've seen in other games on Highway to Seoul. If you lose one of those sections completely, you kind of have a timer starts to run before you run out of the ability to win the game.
Yeah, the Alpha side just gets way too entrenched, and you're just not going to make any good progress. Fortunately for him, Krot is actually going to be moving a bit into Golf, and it really hasn't been all that entrenched. So I see how the Kurtshakers do against all these Grenadiers. They should be able to hold him out in this wave at least. But it does seem like Krot is starting to invest a bit more on the southern flank.
Yeah, the Kurtshakers 90, I think, will win out against the Grenadiers. They're elite for a reason, right? But we do see the Recon Leopard going ahead and engaging with those M41s. And that M41 actually getting some shots in. Oh, plus the SRV's now been fully repaired. Smoke coming out from Nick the Man as well in supporting that push. So he might be actually be able to completely shut down this play here from Krot.
It's getting interesting. The Leopard 1s are coming into the fight. And that's going to be a lot bit risky. STRV can essentially just two-shot him. But he's taking a lot of firepower from multiple angles, so he's going to be very careful. Side shot!
Massive side shot. He needs to get a connecting shot. 2 misses back-to-back. Horrible RNG there for Krot. But the STRV hits the other Leopard 2. Massive kill. Massive pick there.
That was a good pick. He only has 4 of those STRVs, and then after that, it's just the budget Norwegian Leopard tanks. So, I mean, he does have scary tanks, but he doesn't have a lot of them, especially compared to the Mech deck, which has quite a lot of good armored vehicles available, good mid-range armored vehicles available to him.
Yeah, that was an awesome engagement there by Krot. He showed a lot of skill in being able to keep those units engaging, pulling them back as well. And we saw Nick the Man, the smoke was a little bit late, and then the Leopard, unfortunately, not getting even, or the SUV 2121 not even getting a single kill for its troubles there. And real quick, Rang, I'll point your attention down to the far left corner of the map.
Whoa.
As we see Nick the Man is bringing a scout defender, and I think he might want to keep an eye on that. He might try and rush in.
Yeah, that's a cheeky play, right? Yeah, I mean, if you look at the enemy base, it's like an autocannon vehicle, but that's really it. So, the scout defender, he's on the move. He has a chance of getting the kill here.
Yeah, what's funny about that is that, because Krot sent a helo all the way into his base that had no armament whatsoever, and Nick is kind of like, okay, you want to play those games with me? I'm going to send in one, but it actually has 14 rockets.
Yes.
So, it's funny how that ends up working out for each other. And we see an MLU here from Krot plus an F4 Phantom flying up here for top cover. So he is searching for some heavier armor on the battlefield, but there actually isn't any for him to engage.
Nope, it's just really, really quite barren on the battlefield right now, and Krot is starting to invest quite a bit into his offensive in Delta, splitting up all of his infantry into single squads here. There's not a whole lot here where you can see for Nick Demand's defense. Losing the 1-2-1 was a pretty big loss, so Nick Demand's infantry are going to be in for a bad time.
Oh, the Scout Defender is actually going in. The Grenadiers are hitting it. Oh, it's down to 1 HP. All right. And then,
yeah, it should have really stayed as a defender and not as an attacker.
Yeah, it goes down. It's actually its animation going down is going to... Looks like it's going to fly. It's still spinning. It's actually really funny. But as you said, for more important measures, in Delta, the push is going in. The reserve infantry is out front. Leopard 2A1's providing fire support. One thing I really noticed about Krot here in the backline ring is he has a ton of supply already out on the map. So he can just bring his Leopards or anything else back and immediately repair them.
Yeah, that's like an MI-26 almost with
basically
forward FOB, right? Yeah, that's a really funny investment, but I do like that quite a bit, especially if those Leopard 2A1s, you want to try and keep them alive as long as possible.
Oh, so we have some beat-can shots coming out right now from Nick Demand. Is he actually? Oh no, he's hitting where the 25mm auto cannon is. So he might have thought the CV was right there, but Krot CV is safe and secure in the tree line.
Yeah, taking L shots like an absolute champ, yeah.
Yeah, the beacon coming out is actually kind of a curious buy, I think, Rang, for Nick Demand right now. Especially because he's kind of on his back foot for most of the map. It seems like it's a really heavy point investment for something that's not going to hold your front line.
This is kind of the problem in 1v1s and taking heavy artillery guns like that. It's such a huge investment, and you usually never get your monies back out of that, especially in this position right now. I mean, he is getting rocked in Delta. He does have another 1-2-1 on the field, but it's one tank against a whole heap of angry Germans and Dutch people.
Yeah, it sounds like a really bad night on the town. I'm not sure if the Swedes going to be able to keep it up. We do see the AIM has a supply vehicle with it too, so the ammo, he's going to keep giving him shells as he tries to fire as much as he can. 2 automatics as well to give try and keep the MLU off of him. But yeah, it's looking really rough for Nick Demand.
Yeah, it was a heavy investment all in all. Like, he's really just investing in a few powerful units instead of trying to get cheap infantry on the field to hold the line, which is quite interesting. Because, you know, all it takes is a single piece line to come in and that 1-2-1 gets blapped. Or that Leopard sniping the supply vehicle. Smart
and
move.
Actually did 2 HP of damage to the STRV as well. Oh, he's getting shots in, so he needs to back up the automatics. Yeah, so he won't be able to get him back out there. But that's a really good point, I think, Rang, is that a lot of if you count up the STRV 121, the 2 automatics, and the beacon all bought with pretty much quick succession of each other, that's a ton of points just in a couple of units.
Yeah. And the beacon isn't, I mean, it's helping a little bit down south, but the southern side is not really a main concern right now, because Krot is in a position to really take Bravo, which is something you don't see all that often.
Yeah, between 2 really good players in the game, it looks like here, if you're Krot, you send it, right, Rang? You go up that hill. It's some Sevastopol memories there, maybe for the Germans, but you got to climb up there and you got to get the job done.
Yeah, especially right now when it's not yet well defended. We're seeing Nick Demand is starting to invest a bit more on some regular infantry and recon infantry to hold the line. Cause, I mean, these automatic and 1-2-1s are scary, but you do need a little bit more infantry for close quarters engagements.
Yeah, I think one of the big things here is that this is where the God vision, really comes into play for us as the casters, is we can clearly see that for the past couple minutes here, Krot had an absolute, an opportunity to get into Bravo, and even if he trades a little badly, he can probably find that CV, swarm those couple of units, and the game's over. But the push is kind of stalled out there. The reserve infantry's getting killed, and a bunch of reinforcements are now streaming in for Nick.
Yeah. But Krot will be in a good position to defend Delta. His 2A1s are still alive, and he actually split them up. A lot of his supply trucks, are starting to run a little bit dry. But even just rid of the leopard, recon leopard down in the southern area, that's in such a good covering spot to really give like a good defense into Delta.
Yeah, he's in a really good spot. Krot is right now. He's also, I mean, if he wants to, he can cap golf. He might think about capping Echo here pretty soon. He's got a bunch of reinforcements going to stabilize his front. He has what I would say is probably air superiority with an F4F and MLU already out. A KWS F4F actually to add in there because the AMRAM's a pretty big deal if you didn't know, Ring.
They are a pretty big deal. They're pretty big missiles. They can really ram into an enemy plane. That's a rule, right?
Hot. We see that the Leopard actually doing battle with the automatic. They both go down to 1 HP. But the Leopard 1 winning out right there over its AA counterpart.
That's a pretty big pick, right? Yeah. I mean, the Recon Leopard is such a nasty piece of equipment.
Yeah, it's an amazing vehicle that they have access to. It really gives, I think, the Mech, even Mech, which has access to better tanks, obviously the motorized, such a heavy punch because of the optics, because of the stealth, and the gun is pretty good. I mean, you look at 65 points, you still get 15 AP. You get very good optics with the medium stealth, and it's just an absolute beast of a unit.
It is not bad at all, but Nictoman is starting to make a lot of better progress in the center here. He's got all his Fouch from Jaegers pushing up through ATGM infantry. He's trying to get in between Echo and Delta here to the pretty good angle of attack. And even though Krot did make a good offensive, his offensive isn't... Yeah, I mean, his units aren't that strong. He just brought a bunch of reserve infantry. And now with proper infantry on the field, they are just getting melted away.
Yeah, and he's having a really hard time, too, because that STRV was able to get a lot of damage in. Like you said, the reserve infantry is not going to beat the Norwegian special forces. So it just kind of creates or shock infantry, excuse me. But it creates a really hard dynamic now because I think he gave him too much time, Ring.
Oh, the MLU just took a bunch of missiles, but took it like a champ.
Yeah, and then also the... Oh, well, then he's dead.
Doesn't matter.
I was going to make a smart comment, but it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, he goes down in a blaze of glory. Doesn't get a kill, though. And I still really like Krot's position. Nictoman is kind of chipping away a little bit at this front here, but there's just so much on the field set up here for Krot. I don't really see how, from this angle, Nick is able to break that position.
And the geography of Delta really plays into Krot's favor as well. He's got that little village he can bunker into just north of Delta, and he also got a lot of forest in Delta, and between you and the forest and Bravo is open ground, baby. So you get those Leopard Tray 1 set up, and a few ATGMs, and you are golden.
Ooh, is the 1-2-1 going to die to the... Oh no, actually the B-Can comes in, getting the stun on the 2A1 to keep it from killing the 1-2-1.
So close.
The 1-2-1 tanks the Milan 2 shot to the face, weapon jam, but it's still alive. Wow, that's insanity. I thought both of those tanks were dead at one point.
Yeah, pretty nasty engagement, yeah, but the Bacan is, becoming pretty useful, right? Yeah.
They're coming in hot.
Yeah. That was a bit of a stretch, I'm not going to lie.
Okay. Wait, whose was a stretch? Mine was a stretch or yours?
No, mine was a stretch.
Okay, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Bacan and Become, like, you have to really kind of, make up the vowels as you go along.
Just sounds like, it's probably what Swedish sounds like to me. They're just making up vowels. It's only fair. But no, we do see that. Oh, you're going to say? Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's just down south. It's completely and utterly quiet. I just find it funny how both sides have mostly neglected this. Krot has also captured it too, so he's in, well, I'd say captured, just one Panzer Grenadier. But
this
still.
is a 7 HP Panzer Grenadier squad, and they have that entire point on lock. Like, nobody's coming into their area.
Especially those Bulldogs, they're out of fuel.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. I was kind of like, what is up with the Bulldogs? But maybe that's intentional. Like, then it has to be intentional, right? You just hit the 10-point unit out. You really don't care because it's altogether that's 40 points. But it's just funny that they stopped moving, not because he wanted them necessarily to, because they have no gas.
Yes.
Or maybe it's the same thing.
Imagine...
You see, actually, real quick, Ring, up in Delta, a 4-stack of Dragoneers have just pushed in, and they're getting actually side shot here from the Martyr 1s, from the Reserve Infantry, and the Leopard 1. So their HP's dropping pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, they are taking some pretty heavy fire, but they aren't going to make it into the forest. And just looking around, there's not a whole lot which can really worry the Dragoneers right now. It's just a lot of like Reek infantry, Reek reserve infantry, Reek
Right.
recon infantry, not a whole lot of like heavy firepower. So Nick Demand does have an opportunity to get a good foothold back into Delta.
Yeah, I agree with you too, because the STRV 121, there's two of them now. They came down the hill, they double teamed the Leopard recon tank, so he's dead. There's nothing really there to stop that push. So I think he's healing them back up. He's getting some more infantry into the fight here. But if he can keep the MLU from Krot off of his STRVs, it'll be really difficult for him to stop a counterattack.
Indeed, you are seeing Krot push pretty heavy all the way up north, just mopping up shop in the north of Echo here. Could actually get himself into a position to maybe start trying to snipe the supply line. That would be a pretty interesting play.
Yeah, it'd be a massive move there. I'm not sure if he'll be able to make it. He has a lot going on there, but it's all pretty weak in general. So if Nick can respond, I think, effectively to it with some stronger units, he might be able to put a stop to it. But as we see here, the Horde is continuing to go forward of reserve infantry, some auto cannons, and there is a What's the Leopard one? The not good Leopard one. The
Yeah,
30
that's
point.
like the
Yeah.
base model Leopard run, right? Yeah.
Not the sexy beast.
No.
No. We do
Bottom
see a
of the
side
barrel.
shot here. Oh no, actually hit the Jaeger. The two SCRVs have come down from the hill ring. They're pushing in support of some infantry. So look to see from here, Krot, if he can get his MLU in and maybe get a shot into one of them.
Yeah, that would be... It's going to be very important how he maneuvers these 1-2-1s. This is just asking to get ATGM'd, considering they're together right now. Or just, you know, a good side shot. Because he doesn't have a whole lot of recon covering him.
He also doesn't have a lot of AA. There's one automatic. Its fire computer has been reset, and it's actually down at 2 HP. It was doing battle once again with the ground. It thinks it wants to roleplay as a tank and not the AA beast that it really is. But there's a Leopard with 2A1 there to remind him of what his role is.
Yes. It's so tempting to just use the automatic as a fire support unit. Like, it's really awesome in that role, but it's usually best to try and use it in its proper anti-aircraft role. It's just kind of an added bonus, so to speak,
Right.
that it can blap tanks.
I think the big thing is you have to remember you're not in War Thunder, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
You can't just roll around and claim tank kills at point blank range.
Yeah, just drift round the corner and go bang, bang, bang. It goes for
Right.
T-62.
No, we do see Krot's actually kind of doing a slight counterattack here, trying to push back on some of the gains. Those Dragoneers are all dead. What looks like a really glorious charge from the Danish infantry has resulted in a pretty staggering defeat. And now the Jaeger 90 are trying to hold the building complex. And where the SCRVs are, they're back up a little bit.
But it's just, like you said earlier about the timing thing, it seems like here for Nick the Man, he's just not going to be able to get back into the center of the map. It's really starting to look very dug in here from Krot. He's got all the supply trucks keeping everything supplied. There's Leopard 1 still up and running. And he's just in a really good position to stop any push. As we see, they have to cross the open ground and then they get blown up.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to see here from Krot is another CV come out. Like, get the +2 going. Because by allowing the +1 to continue, he does kind of let Nick the Man stay in the game. Nick's a great player. There's always the possibility that maybe he can make something happen and change the outcome. But a +2 for, a couple of minutes is really hard to come back from sometimes, Rang.
Yeah, I think Nick the Man's best bet is to really try and refocus his efforts to push down south and try to regain Charlie and Gulf, and then from there you can put pressure into Delta.
Oh, we actually see real quick a Peace Ryan's coming in here, lining up to try and get some side shots. So the frontal armor is now turned for the SCRVs, and it does tank the shot there. So he's lucky for it to still be alive, but some pretty big damage done by the Peace Ryan.
Yeah, good bit of micro trying to reface the tank so it doesn't get completely and utterly destroyed. That was a very good play from Nick the Man.
Mine would have died.
Same with mine. They would have been dead long ago.
Well, actually, a CV call here from Nick the Man.
Ooh.
He's pushing towards the middle, and I think he's going to go in hot and Charlie. And like you said earlier, Rang, I really like the move here. Krot's kind of let him stay in this game a little bit. I get there's 15 minutes. The 160 lead is pretty big. But if he can get Charlie and Golf and then cap both, there's a chance that he can still get back in this game.
Yeah, it's still the opportunity. 15 minutes, yeah, like on a +2 you can definitely cap up to 170 points or so. That's not Too bad, yo. Time is not on Nick Demand's side. He's
No,
really
he's got to
going
get
to.
moving.
He's he's got to get moving, and getting that CV out right now is a great call.
Yeah, I really like that. It's a good foresight in for him. He's got to have the B can as well. And a big benefit if he does push hard into Charlie and Golf is there's just under 20 Panzer Grenadiers between the two sectors to hold them. So he doesn't need armor. He really doesn't need much AA. He just needs to get into the two sectors and then cap them. And that might be enough to really force maybe a mistake from Krot, who's played a pretty clean game overall.
Yeah, he's been trading really efficiently. I don't believe he's lost Leopard to A1.
No, I think they're both still alive, right?
Yeah, which is pretty good considering the amount of super heavies he's had to go up against so fast. So all of his important stuff still alive. It's just all the reserves which are rightfully getting blown up.
Yeah, and that's what they're meant to do, though, right? They're meant to go in there. They soak up damage. They got the cheap transport as well. You push them in front. One reason with mech is you can put out so much infantry. It gets a little overwhelming. And what's funny, too, I think, is the difference we can see, because we've cast a lot of Moto decks lately, Rang, is defensively how strong mech is versus we see with the Moto players when they have to start defending. A lot of times it kind of unravels at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you get the infantry spam like with Moto, but your infantry is usually... Oh no! I think having like proper IFVs, like Marder
Yep.
ones, that help out quite a bit.
Massive,
But
yeah,
also
that's
just,
big.
it's the tanks, because you get...
Yep.
You don't get the super heavies, but at least you get the mid-range to heavy tanks, which make a huge deal, especially in just defensive operations.
Yeah, and I really like also because, like, for Dutch German, for example, you can play, you get the Leopard, whether it's Moto or it's mechanized, like the Recon Leopards, for example, and then you compare it with your 2A1s, which for 100 points, I think is a pretty good tank. It typically can do, especially if you keep them stacked up together, can do a lot of damage, as we saw against the SCRV earlier. And like you said, a ton of infantry of different calibers with good IFVs, like the Martyr.
Yeah. Oh, Nick's actually pushing kind of heavy into Delta here. He's got the smoke dropping, he's got his infantry with some Rook of Bulldogs, giving some cover and fire. I don't know how else is going to go. I understand what he's trying to do. He doesn't need to capture Delta, he just needs to contest it. If he can get a foothold in Delta, plop a CV in, yeah, definitely give him a good opportunity to get a +2 if he also captures Golf.
Yeah, he does need to capture Golf as well, so those troops need to get moving. I think if you're a Nick, like, you can't stop and hold on to your gains in Charlie. You need to be a little more risky. And at the same time, this push is a lot's going to come down to this push in Delta, as you said. And something I want to point out here that I had noticed before is those STRVs are actually low on gas. They're down to 200.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to actually have to resupply
and
them
ammo.
pretty soon with some full. Yeah, and ammo as well, down to 5 rounds. So if he hasn't paid attention to that, which I probably wouldn't have, he's going to be in a very weird spot. And at the same time, Krot Rang is actually firing on the supply road from Bravo, as you called out earlier, and that's actually come to fruition.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're seeing a CV being brought in over here, so maybe he can get a CV snipe. That would be a huge play at this point in the game. Nick the Man really can't be affording to lose CVs. He does have the automatic acting as a guard dog,
Screening.
so to speak. Yeah, screening.
Yeah, there's a possibility the automatic can keep it alive. I mean, that is a 25 millimeter, 25 millimeter arm transport. Excuse me. It does have some HP lowered as well, so the automatic can definitely annihilate that thing. But it's a worrying sign there for Nick that his supply line is in jeopardy.
Yeah. Indeed, indeed. But yeah, things are starting to get spicy now. We're seeing Nick the Man making really good progress into Delta, getting to the halfway point, so he does have a good chance of actually slapping a CV and, yeah, neutralizing the point. Oh, the CV does die! It gets killed out crossing the bridge.
Yeah, that's brutal right there for him. I really think the CV should have... And you never know at the spawn point, so we don't have a player interview lined up with him. But I think that getting one from Alpha and sending it up to Golf would have been the better move. Obviously, we have the vision, so we can kind of see there. But there is nothing in Golf. There's 6 Panzergrins way in the back. They're over there having some schnapps and sausage. They're just chilling. And he really could have got into Golf and capped it. And at the same time, Echo getting capped by Krot, getting the tick started again is really brutal for Nick.
Yeah, this is the point of the match where it just comes down to the CV games and investing in those CVs. And, I don't know, sniping that CV really could have just sealed the deal, yeah, for Nick the Man. That's a lot of points down the drain.
Yeah, and it's a really good attack going for him too. But one thing about Mech, and something you really notice, right, is there's so much on the map all the time for it. You get so much cheap infantry. You throw it everywhere. Cheap transports. Mix in some planes. Mix in some tanks, and it's just really difficult to deal with. And we even see the SROVs are finally got some gas again. Not even fully topped off, but got a little more ammo as well because he really needs those in the fight right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be extremely pivotal in how he uses those 1-2-1s, because they do have the power potential to just break through Delta, but it's also the firepower potential of Peace Range coming in, but good smoke
Who is he
play.
gonna get on that? And the Peace Run actually gets out with just 1 HP, almost going down there to the automatic. Really unlucky there for Nick, but he needs to continue pushing Rang. If he can get the Leopard 1 CV, they can at least stop the tick here. But he really needs to cap Golf at the same time, I think.
Yeah, has a lot he needs to get done. And I'm noticing that really the 1-2-1s, these two at least, all they've been able to do is just blow up infantry. The Leopard 2A1s have been avoiding them like the plague, which is honestly a pretty good play here for Krot. Just trying to... It's kind of like with Steel Division. You see a heavy tank, yeah, just like, try to ignore it. I'll do some Fabian tactics on that motherfucker.
Right, getting brutal out here. And we do see there's gonna have the two Leopard 2s, A1s, excuse me, here for Krot, and then you put them in together and you get close range, up close and personal with those Swedish A-holes.
Oh, he's gonna snipe the Leopard!
He gets the Leopard. Big kill there from the Falkenmeager 90. But the problem is he needs a CV, he needs to cap it. He needs the points going back immediately because he is significantly down.
Yeah, he needs... Oh god, yeah, it's only 8 minutes, and it's 239 points. That is tough.
What? Okay, so we have so I'm going on CV report here, live from the ground. We see the Lynx is actually coming in, so he will cap Golf, and that'll get him back to the +1. But I think he needs an immediate CV call out into Delta here to try and get a +2 tick. And this attack needs to cut a little to the right. The Schwerpunkt needs to go towards Echo Ring.
Yeah, he needs to get that CV sniping Echo as well. It's going to come down to his 1-2-1s, just blapping everything. And he's going in hard now. It's taking some Milan 2 shots, but he doesn't care. He doesn't have the time. Okay, he does. He does care.
He said, okay, never mind. I'm not going in that hot.
Yeah.
And actually, some smoke dropping in there, but some smoke dropping from Krot to try to get these Panzergrins up close and personal. But the Falkenmeager 90 plus the Dragoneers doing massive damage to them as they try to come in the open here. SCRVs are going to be able to back up, but there is no supply there to repair him. So he's pretty committed with what he's got.
Yeah, this is getting really interesting now. I mean, I don't think Nick Man will have the time to do this. If he can get a CV into Delta like literally right now, and the run coming into Gulf. Okay.
So he has called it, but he probably needs to pick the Echo one, and that's maybe where you want to see the Beacon. He just has nothing really in front of him to scout. He needs something else. So the M41s, the Walker Bulldogs, this may be their time to shine. See if they can get a CV spot. The Beacon will quickly eliminate that little infantry CV there, chilling in Echo. But I'm not sure where else he's gonna, because he can't push Foxtrot. Golf is now secure. So yeah, I think he has to just try and find the CV and Echo.
Yeah, you just have to... It's the point in the match where you select everything and you attack move. And he's kind of doing that up north. He does have the Norwegian budget Leopard coming in to help out. Yeah, there's still 2 Leopard 2A1s, which are pivoted all the way over here. And the 1-2-1s aren't going to be in a good position to really deal with him. He can't really pivot him up north. So they're still on just infantry support role. But hey, they're out of ammo now, so they're pretty useless.
Yeah, that's really rough. We see, I think that's 2 Kussjäger 90s are about to get called out as well from Nick. I'm not sure where they're going. They're in the HKPs. And at the same time, Krot is pushing forward from Echo towards the supply line. And I love that move from Krot. I think too many players, rank when the initiative kind of swings, they get too defensive and they never go back on the attack. I really like Krot saying, hey, I'm going to push here and force you to respond to me, even though I'm kind of on my back foot a bit.
Yeah, at this point in the match, you can really afford to make risky maneuvers, because even if his push completely fails, Nick will only have like a few minutes to capitalize on that. And all Krot needs to do is just, stop that points bleed for a little bit, or just keep it at +1. He just needs to deny Nick the ability to gain that momentum, and he's got it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where he stops this year. Like that one like we said, the great value brand Leopard isn't going to be able to kill the two Leopard 2A1s. Yeah, he goes down in a ball of flames right there. Ammo racked. Get him out of here. The automatics on the run as well, which means the supply line from Bravo is about to be cut off. And I don't think there's any relief about to reach Nick's troops.
No, I feel he lost a lot of that momentum. The 1-2-1s being out of fuel and ammo is kind of the nail in the coffin there, because that was the main driving force, but they've just been shooting so much crappy infantry that they haven't really been able to, shine in that anti-tank role.
Yeah, it's a tactic that I really don't think we've been able to highlight too often, but using that 10-point infantry, it keep the SCRV just constantly dumping rounds into it. And this isn't Steel Division 2. The ammo's pooled together as one. It's not separate AP, HE, APCR, and really, it's a lot of wasted shells into a bunch of garbage infantry. And now he's low on ammo, damaged, low on gas, and the SCRV pain train came to a halt.
Yeah, and we saw the laboratory runs from Krot just pivoted up north into an area where those SCRVs aren't, because he only has a few of them. They can only cover so much of the map, and they completely dominated the northern side and, stopped that little incursion from Nick the Man.
Yeah. Little incursion there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Joe Biden was here. But we do see... And I really think here that... So you're going to see the +2 come in, but it's just too late for Nick. Unless he could do something really cheesy and find that CV and Echo, or maybe try and just CV snipe with the B-can. The B-can is kind of just chilling, so it could launch... Oh, it gets detracked! He needs to stop it, because it's still on the move order, so it's not capping the point.
Oh, Wargame.
That is Wargame right there, summed up in one little clip there for you. What do they call them YouTube now? The shorts. Make that a short there. That's Wargame for you.
You need to film it vertical and have a bunch of annoying filters as well.
Yeah, that's really rough right there for him. He noted, so it does get capped. Yep, he stops the order, so it does cap Delta in the +2. But he's a couple minutes too late.
Oh, yep. Yeah, he's pushing right down the highway now. He's really just attack moving everything into Gulf from Gulf. Not really. He doesn't really have the time to make anything happen. I guess he's trying to make something happen in Foxtrot. But there's not much else he can do. So he might as well.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate with timing. At the same time, the SRV's running out of ammo and pretty much running out of gas as well. Really slowed it down. But I think the big thing is Krot was able to just utilize his deck effectively. A lot of cheap infantry, a lot of cheap transports, and then when he was ready to make big pushes, he took the good stuff in the deck and was really able to get a lot of value out of his mid-range point units.
Yeah, it managed to definitely get better map control by covering them across a larger area of the map. He's got 4 laboratory ones right now, and they've been, just as long as an SCRV 1-2 run isn't nearby, they will completely blap anything.
Well, that SCRV 121 is going in what we call hot, H-O-T. One goes down to the 2A1. Well, the 5-1 gets a hit. Oh, they're trading shots here now. He actually might be able to kill this 2A1 before he dies as well. Oh, but the entire Delta position has just been completely annihilated now by Krot.
Yeah, and that also threatens Bravo. The CV does get sniped, and that's pretty much it.
That's all she wrote, Ring.
Yeah, but Nick is going to fight to the end, it seems, here.
Hey, he's about it. I'm not sure what position this was in the tournament or not, but he's like, I'm going down swinging. No, I respect it. It's a crazy game right there, and I just think it really highlighted that Krot played his deck extremely well. I think he played to the strengths of it. It seemed like he had really good control the whole time, and he didn't panic when Golf was lost early. He counterattacked hard into Echo and Delta, threatened Bravo for an extended period of time, and just set himself up to be in the driver's seat for the rest of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Those mechanized decks are very strong and meta for good reason. The last 1-2-1 does go down
Martyr
yet.
2. The Martyr 2 getting the kill right there, I think. He said, hey, I'm a tank too. Like some role play.
I'm very close to killing that CV and Foxtrot, but it's not gonna happen.
No.
The Germans,
Yeah, the Germans have arrived. It wouldn't matter. Better late than never. But, yeah, that's about all she wrote here. And you can see it as we reach the end.
And there we go, GG. Actually, pretty close in kills, only an 800 or so difference, yeah, but that was a pretty gnarly match.
Yeah, it was crazy. Two really, really good players. They're two of the best players in Wargame. So I love when you get to like see those kind of when those guys play against each other, different tactics. I'm sure they played each other a bunch of times as well, Rang. So there's probably some some mind games between the two of them to some extent. But yeah, Krot played a really clean game, I think, overall, and just really solid play.
Yeah, just those mechanized decks are bloody effective.
Yeah, you can't mech with it.
You can't. You have anything else to say?
No. I just want to say it was nice to cast some Wargame. I know you're going to be casting some Warno here pretty soon. I'm excited to see what you have to do with that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And
there you go.
Yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. And as usual, please just take it easy.